Hey friends, I hope you are having an amazing day today, and I'm so glad you're here because today we're going to talk about Proverbs 1. And this proverb is pretty special to me, and I'll explain why after we go through reading it. So if you're new to the channel, welcome. Here we're just a Christian community, and we share ideas, we share prayers, we read a chapter a day and just discuss it in the comments. So I hope you enjoy. If you have any suggestions for books that you would like to see covered, or particular request regarding style, how long the videos, any suggestions for the channel, please leave them down in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe, because it really means a lot to help our channel grow and reach more people. And that's really the ultimate goal, is to bring this community and connect people who are of like mind and morals and values, so that we can, just be on the same page. So we'll go ahead and get started. I'm going to start with Proverbs 1. I wasn't really sure which verse I wanted to go into. This is only my second time, so please bear with me. And again, if you're new here, I'm not a pastor or minister. I haven't been to theology school. God has just called me to share my journey because I suffer from social anxiety. So building a community is kind of difficult for me. So God was like, hey, bring it to YouTube and have a community of people all over the world. So I'm really glad you're here, and I hope that we can really develop our friendship and get close. So I'm just going to say a quick prayer. Lord, please bless this reading, and I'm praying that we all receive what we need to at this time and what can make us grow spiritually. And we appreciate you bringing us together today. In Jesus' name, amen. So suggestions for opening prayers down below. Again, I'm very, very new to this. So, this is a no judgment zone. And that's one of the great things about being a Christian. People are there to help you and not judge you. So help me grow spiritually. I really appreciate it. Okay, so the first, we're going to read Proverbs. So I'm just going to go through and read, and then we can discuss it. The purpose of Proverbs. There are Proverbs of Solomon, David's son, king of Israel. Their purpose is to teach people wisdom and discipline, to help them understand the insights of the wise. Their purpose is to teach people to live disciplined and successful lives, to help them do what is right, just, and fair. These proverbs will give insight to the simple, knowledge, and discernment to the young. Let the wise listen to these proverbs and become even wiser. Let those with understanding receive guidance. By exploring the meaning in these proverbs and parables, the words of the wise and their riddles. Fear of the Lord is the foundation of true knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and discipline. A father's extortion acquire knowledge. My child, listen when your father corrects you. Don't neglect your mother's instruction. What you learned from them will crown you with grace and be a chain of honor around your neck. My child, if sinners entice you, turn your back on them. They may say, come and join us. Let's hide and kill someone just for fun. Let's ambush the innocent. Let's swallow them alive like the grave. Let's swallow them whole like those who go down to the pit of death. Think of the great things we'll get. We'll fill our houses with all the stuff we take. Come throw in your lot with us. We'll all share the loot. My child, don't go along with them. Stay far away from their paths. They rush to commit evil deeds. They hurry to commit murder. If a bird sees a trap being set, it knows to stay away. But these people set an ambush for themselves. They are trying to get themselves killed. Such is the fate of all who are greedy for money. It robs them of life. Wisdom shouts in the streets. Wisdom shouts in the streets. She cries out in the public square. She calls to the crowds along the main street to those gathered in front of the city gate. How long, you simpletons, will you insist on being simple-minded? How long will you mockers relish your mocking? How long will you fools hate knowledge? Come and listen to my counsel. I'll share my heart with you and make you wise. I called you so often, but you wouldn't come. I reached out to you, but you paid no attention. You ignored my advice and rejected the correction I offered. So I will laugh when you are in trouble. I will mock you when disaster overtakes you. When calamity overtakes you like a storm, when disaster engulfs you like a cyclone, and anguish and distress overwhelm you. When they cry for help, I will not answer. Though they anxiously search for me, they will not find me. For they hated knowledge and chose not to fear the Lord. They rejected my advice and paid no attention when I corrected them. Therefore, they must eat the bitter fruit of living their own way, choking on their own schemes. For simpletons turn away from me to death. Fools are destroyed by their own complacency. But all who listen to me will live in peace, untroubled by fear of harm. Amen. So this one's deep. This is very deep. So I'm just going to start from the beginning. Really, the beginning to me is talking about the purpose of Proverbs. Obviously, that's the title, but it's to teach people wisdom and discipline to help them understand. So I, made a point to highlight that in saying that, throughout here through Proverbs, you can learn what's right, just, and fair. It'll give you knowledge and discernment, and it'll allow you to become even wiser. So even if you're smart, like it says, the wise will become wiser. And it says, let the wise, so verse 5 says, let the wise listen to these proverbs and become even wiser. Let those understanding receive guidance. So even if you know better and you know what's right to do, sometimes when you just need a little guidance and you're unsure, you can read through Proverbs and it'll kind of direct you in the right path. So it's also saying that fear of the Lord is the foundation of true knowledge. So that's where it all begins, is to have that fear of God, and to be wise, you need to be open to wisdom and discipline. And that's where verse 7 comes in. It's like, fear of the Lord is your foundation, and you build upon that with your knowledge and the wisdom and the understanding. You get discernment. So, that's where that first part, just talking about the purpose of Proverbs. So my question to you is, what do you feel the purpose of Proverbs is? And how do you relate that or use that in your daily life? So one of the things that I want to do moving forward is, when I'm kind of needing guidance or when I'm feeling a little bit lost, just kind of flipping through Proverbs, and I bet you anything the answer is in here somewhere. And if it's not in Proverbs, it's somewhere in this book. It's somewhere. The answer is here. So the next part is basically, to me, it's talking about who's in your circle. So who do we rely on? Who do we listen to? Who do we talk to? So one of the verse 8 and verse 9 are talking about our mother and our father. So it says, my child, listen when your father corrects you. So who are you listening to? And don't neglect your mother's instruction. So make sure you're listening to your mother and father, respecting your mother and your father. What you learn from them will crown you with grace and be a chain of honor around your neck. So if you learn to respect your parents, and even if you don't always agree with what they say, just take it in, be respectful, and then move on, So then verse 10 goes down and says, if sinners entice you, turn your back on them. So I know we've all come across people who weren't on the same page as us. We're not on the same path. So it's basically, this is saying, don't don't do what you know is wrong. Don't miss the blessing of life. You know, don't do what you know is wrong. So a lot of times it's easy to kind of like turn the other cheek or look the other way because it's somebody, a relative, a friend, a family member, or someone that you aren't comfortable with confronting. So in this case, it's basically, you know, to me, it's saying it's easy for you to get caught up in those kind of things if we don't turn our back on those things. And as Christians, it's, to me, I think a common misconception of Christians, because we're told not to judge people, and you know, we're told to turn the other cheek. We're told, you know, we're genuinely happy people, open-hearted, that it's easy for people to take advantage of that and take advantage of our kindness. And so there's a fine line between being kind and being stupid. So in this case, it's saying don't even allow those people in your circle. Don't allow them close to you, because of where you'll end up. You know, where it says, those who go down to the pit of death. I don't want to be in the pit of death, do you? I don't think so. So to me, part of this process with, you know, growing my relationship with God was clearing out my circle. So, you know, I challenge you to take a look at your circle and see, are there people in your circle who aren't necessarily on the same path as you are on? And ask yourself, why are you still entertaining that? Because as we entertain those types of relationships, we're leaving the door open for the enemy to attack. So he will use those people who are weak in faith to attack us. And we don't want any of that. We don't need any of that. So, you know, today I just challenge you to take a look at your circle and really decide if everyone in your circle, family or friend, belongs there and is worthy to be in that circle. And I'm not saying that you should just cut everyone off who's not a Christian. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying take a look at where they're at, and, you know, if that's what you need in your life. And I'm open to comments about this, so, you know, check the box and let's open up a dialogue. So then as we go further down, it says, it's talking about the fate of all those who are greedy for money. It robs them of life. So that's verse 19. Such is the fate of all those who are greedy for money. It robs them of life. So to me, this is meaning like, don't miss your blessings because you're worried about money. Being stressed out and worried about money leads to bad decision making, depression, anger, and all types of negativity. So, you know, let the money piece go and really focus on the joys in life and what brings you joy. And as you focus on more of the good, the money will come for the things that you need. God is going to take care of you. He's going to make sure you're okay. But don't be greedy. Like, we can share, we can help each other, and we can still have a good time. Okay, so then the next part is a wisdom shouts in the streets. So I highlighted verse 20. It says, wisdom shouts in the streets. She cries out in the public square. So I highlighted that and I made a note. It says, wisdom is obvious in the open. It's wisdom. Sometimes it's like similar to common sense. Like sometimes it yells at you and you're like, I know better, but we don't always do better. So, you know, don't ignore wisdom. Like in the news, TV, movies, other people, you know, you can only pretend to be simple-minded for so long. So, just be open to the wisdom. Be open to what God's trying to show you. Then as we go further down, we have verse 24. It says, I called you so often, but you wouldn't come. You paid no attention. You ignored my advice and rejected the correction I offered. So this part I'm really honing in on. You knew better. You know, when it goes down, it says, I will laugh when you are in trouble. So I'm like, what? God's going to laugh at me? But hey, God can have a sense of humor. You know, he can be sitting up there and was like, man, she knew better than that. What is she doing? I taught her better than that. So, or when you make the same mistake more than once, it's like you know better. So God's up there laughing, you know. And not to say that he's not going to be there for you or help you, but just know that God's going to give you what you need to fulfill your purpose and your path. And he's never going to just throw you in the deep end without teaching you how to swim. Or providing you with like a life jacket or a raft or something that'll make you float. So when we do stuff like, oh, I don't know how to swim, but who cares? Let me just jump in anyway. That's when he's like, she knew better. But he's always going to be there to pick you back up. So I don't think it's okay for us to laugh at other people when they go through bad times when we know they knew better. You know, my mom's going through something right now, and I'm like, you knew better. But at the end of the day, I'm still going to support her in recovering from whatever she's going through because I love her. And that's kind of the same thing with God. He loves us. And even though he knows that we know better, he's still going to support us. So this part I thought was very, very important. Verse 31 says, therefore they must eat the bitter fruit of living their own way, choking on their own schemes. So I don't know about you, but whenever I do something and it's like I know better, but then I do it anyway, and then I'm just like so mad at myself. I'm like, why did I do that? I knew better. You know, we have to live with the consequences of our actions. So it's really important that we kind of like think ahead when we're trying to do stuff, because I don't want to be a fool. I don't know about you. You know, things happen, but you know, use the wisdom and the knowledge that and the discernment that God has given you. Pray about it. Talk to other people in your Christian community. Come here, ask us about it, and let's make like wise decisions. Let's stay on the right path. You know, so in verse 32 it says, fools are destroyed by their own complacency. Doing nothing makes you a fool. Do something about it. Don't just sit there and be complacent and don't care. You know the right thing to do. Do the right thing. It's that simple. So then verse 33 says, but all who listen to me will live in peace, untroubled by fear of harm. And I love this part because now I'm really feeling like, you know, when I stay with God, when I stay on my right path, I'll live in peace and I won't have to worry about that foundation of fear in the Lord. That's what becomes your rock. You know, that's why they're saying it's the foundation. Like, you know, which one was it? Oh, okay. So verse 7 says, fear of the Lord is the foundation of true knowledge. So if we listen to him, then we won't have to worry about being afraid, not of him or anyone else, and we'll live in peace and harmony. with wisdom comes peace. So once we're smart enough to know better, then we can cultivate a life that is free from harm or anxiety, depression, fear, worry, drama. And the enemy is going to try to stop you in any way he can. But once you know, you have to act on that. So once you realize that these certain things are upsetting your peace, or these people are not on the same path as you, you need to separate yourself and, put yourself in that bubble of protection from the Lord. And, as long as you're in there, he's going to keep you safe and take care of you. But if you're complacent and you just say, that's them, it's okay, I can sit back and watch them do the wrong thing, that's fine. No, it's not. Being complacent makes you a fool. Being complacent makes you just as bad as being a part of it. So, I don't know how you feel about those things. I don't know what other suggestions or observations you made while reading Proverbs 1, but I'd love to hear them. So please leave some information down in the comments below, and if I get enough information that we can actually have like a good discussion, I'll do another video on this chapter. If you're interested in me doing more chapters at once, let me know. And I just hope that you have an amazing day, and I really hope to hear from you, and I appreciate you being here, and may God bless you, and please continue to stay in his presence. I love you.